Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Tanvi Taneja and with me is Renuka RS with the evening news. The headlines. Nation bids adieu to former President Pranab Mukherjee, cremated with full military honours in New Delhi. India says Chinese army carried out provocative acts on 29th, 30th and 31st of August in eastern Ladakh despite ongoing talks. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holds high-level meeting on LAC situation. Communications and IT Minister writes to Facebook to come up with country-specific community guidelines. COVID-19 recovery rate inches close to 77%. Government gives nod to 27 integrated cold chain development projects under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. And Indian astronomers discover one of the farthest star galaxies in the universe. The nation bid a tearful adieu to former President and Bharat Ratna Pranab Mukherjee. His last rites were performed with full military honours at the Lodi Road Crematorium in New Delhi this afternoon amid strict adherence to social distancing norms. The former president passed away yesterday, 22 days after being admitted to the Army's Research and Referral Hospital to undergo a surgical procedure to remove a brain clot from which he never recovered. He was also tested COVID-19 positive during his treatment in the hospital. Pranab Mukherjee's mortal remains were brought to his residence at 10 Rajaji Marg earlier this morning. President Ramnath Kovind, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, BJP President J.P. Nadda, former Congress President Rahul Gandhi, Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad, RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, Union Ministers Nirmala Sitharaman and Harsh Vardhan, CPI leader D. Raja, chiefs of the three services and a host of dignitaries paid their tributes to the departed leader. The Prime Minister in a tweet said, Pranab Mukherjee would be remembered by generations for his efforts towards India's progress. The former president was taken for the last rites in a hearse van instead of the gun carriage, with the pallbearers wearing personal protective equipment kits as per the COVID-19 protocol. The Union Cabinet condoled the sad demise of Pranab Mukherjee. The Cabinet also observed silence for 2 minutes in memory of the former president. The Cabinet resolution said, in his passing away, the country has lost a distinguished leader and an outstanding parliamentarian. The government had announced a 7-day state mourning as a mark of respect to the former president. A 7-time parliamentarian and recipient of Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian honour, Pranab Mukherjee was one of the most admired and respected political figures in India. Former President Pranab Mukherjee's son, Abhijit, a former parliamentarian, today said he plans to convert one floor of their house in West Bengal's Jangipur into a museum-cum-library in memory of the departed leader. Mr. Abhijit also said he would like the government to issue a postage stamp in honour of his father. Mr. Abhijit said he will gather his personal belongings, particularly the vast number of books, gift items like clocks, and put them into that museum. India Today said Chinese army carried out provocative acts on 29th, 30th and 31st August even as talks to diffuse tensions went on. In response to a media query on the recent developments in the India-China border areas, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said India has taken up the matter of recent provocative and aggressive actions with Chinese side through both diplomatic and military channels. He said India has urged them to discipline and control their frontline troops from undertaking such provocative actions. India and China have been closely engaged through diplomatic and military channels over the past 3 months to resolve the situation along the India-China border. The 2 foreign ministers and the 2 special representatives had agreed that the situation should be handled in a responsible manner and either side should not take any provocative action or escalate matters and ensure peace and tranquility as per bilateral agreements and protocol.
The spokesperson said the Chinese side, however, violated this understanding and engaged in provocative military maneuvers in the late night of 29th and on 30th August in an attempt to change the status quo in the South Bank area of Pangong Lake. The Indian side responded to these provocative actions and took appropriate defensive measures along the LAC in order to safeguard nation's interests and defend the territorial integrity. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today held a crucial meeting with Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Chief of Defence Staff Bipin Rawat, Army Chief M.M. Naravane and Director General of Military Operations. Our correspondent reports the discussion centred around the future course of action after the recent provocations from the PLA in the South Pangong area. Yesterday, Brigade Commander level flag meeting between the Indian Army and PLA held at Chushul to discuss PLA troops' provocative military movements. The Army said that PLA troops violated the previous consensus arrived at during military and diplomatic engagements during the ongoing standoff in eastern Ladakh. PLA troops carried out provocative military movements to change the status quo in the intervening night of 29th August and 30th August. However, Indian troops preempted this PLA activity. Speaking with AIR News, defence expert Commodore Uday Bhaskar said that India has given a firm reply to the provocative military movements in the southern Pangong Lake area. He said the nation is committed to maintaining peace and tranquility through dialogue, but is also equally determined to protect its territorial integrity.
The preemptive action taken by the Indian Army along the southern bank of the Pangong Lake, to my mind, it is an expression of New Delhi's firm resolve and quiet restraint by way of the signal being conveyed to the Chinese PLA as also to the political leadership Beijing. As I see it, the ball is now in China's court in relation to its own sincerity and commitment to peace and stability along the line of actual control through sustained dialogue.
Speaking exclusively to AIR News, former diplomat T.C.A. Rangachari termed the provocations from PLA along the LAC as gravely unfortunate incidents. He said the unilateral attempt from the Chinese side to alter the status quo along the LAC would dismantle the efforts towards building a stronger bilateral relationship put in over several decades by the two sides.
Current Government of India policy is absolutely the right way to go about it. Continue negotiations, whether it is at the diplomatic or at the military level. Try and reverse the Chinese incursions and get back to the status quo ante as it existed. The second thing is that continuing provocations of this nature from the Chinese side and attempts to unilaterally alter the status quo along the LAC is going to result in a huge setback to India-China relations. The status quo ante can be restored and thereafter dialogue can continue, including on where the LAC lies and where it should lie, and whatever results are achieved as a result of that dialogue can be implemented on the ground. But unilateral changes in status quo cannot be accepted, cannot be permitted, because once you go that route, there is no end to that process.
Union Communications and IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has asked the founder and head of the social media platform Facebook to come up with country-specific community guidelines for better representation of diverse views. In a letter written to Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, the minister raised serious concerns regarding approach of Facebook India management in the 2019 general elections. Mr. Prasad added that there was a concerted effort by the Facebook management in the country during the last general elections to delete pages and substantially reduce outreach of posts which were supportive of the right-of-centre ideology. Referring to the instances of bias by the social media platform, he said that the management did not even respond to the messages seeking remedial measures over the issue. Mr. Prasad said that the collusion of a group of Facebook employees with international media is giving a free run to the malevolent vested interests to cast aspersions on the democratic process of the country. He also emphatically pointed out the usage of the social media platform on multiple instances by anarchic and radical elements with the sole aim to destroy the social order. The IT minister also stressed the need to do away with the practice of outsourcing the job of fact-checking by the social media platform to unverified and incredulous agencies.
India reaffirmed its determination to take lead in delivering a free, fair, inclusive and stable trade environment along with partner countries Australia and Japan. In a meeting between the trade and commerce ministers of the three countries held today through video conferencing, they pledged to promote a non-discriminatory, transparent and stable investment environment in addition to keeping their markets open. Recognizing the pressing need for regional cooperation on supply chain resilience in the Indo-Pacific, the ministers shared their intention to work towards the launch of a new initiative to achieve the objective through cooperation. Addressing the trilateral meeting, Union Commerce and Industry Minister Mr. Piyush Goyal said that the initiative has come up at the most opportune time. He said in light of the post-COVID scenario, there is a likelihood of returning of supply chains in the Indo-Pacific region. Mr. Goyal asserted that India wholeheartedly endorses the broad concept of working towards ensuring a trustworthy, dependable and reliable supply chain in the Indo-Pacific. Talking about India's economic expansion in terms of Atmanirbhar Bharat, the minister said the policy seeks to make India economically stronger with enhanced capacities ensuring resilience of supply chains. He said that India, in its tradition of treating the world as a family, played a crucial role during the COVID crisis with the export measures for supplying of critical medical products to ensure equitable distribution. Australia's Minister for Trade and Investment, Mr. Simon Birmingham, and Japan's Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry, Mr. Kajiyama Hiroshi, attended the meeting along with senior officials from all the three countries.
In our series on Atmanirbhar Bharat today, we bring you a special story on Robot Rakshak. In the fight against the spread of COVID-19 pandemic, the Railways has designed a health assistant, Robot Rakshak, which can remotely communicate between doctor and patient. The medical aid robot is able to measure health parameters such as temperature, pulse, and oxygen percentage. It can also provide medicines, food to the patients and make a two-way video communication between the doctor and the patient. It can move in all directions at all levels with a range of remote operations up to 150 meters. With a full charge battery, the Rakshak robot can work continuously for 6 hours and can carry up to 10 kgs of weight in its tray. It is based on Wi-Fi and therefore does not require any mobile data. It also operates with Android mobile application. The government today said that free food grains have been supplied to about 95% of the total migrants under Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme. In the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, the government in May this year had announced a set of economic measures under the Atmanirbhar Bharat package to help mitigate workers across the country. Consumer Affairs Ministry said a total quantity of about 2,65,000 tons of food grains has been successfully distributed under the scheme up to 31st of August by all states and union territories. The ministry said free food grains have been supplied to about 95% of the total of 2 crore 80 lakh migrants estimated by states and UTs. And giving a push to the Atmanirbhar Bharat call by the Prime Minister, IIT Bombay has launched an alternative to Cam Scanner, a Chinese app mainly used for scanning documents that was banned by the Government of India. The new app launched by IIT Bombay students is called Air Scanner and is available free of cost. More in this report.
IIT Bombay has developed an indigenous alternative to Chinese document scanning app Cam Scanner following Centre's decision to ban 59 Chinese mobile apps. AIR Scanner was launched on Independence Day, 15th August 2020 by these IIT students. We spoke to Rohit Chaudhary, final year BTech students in the Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Bombay, explaining about the safety features of this app. Elaborating on the functionality of this app, Rohit Chaudhary said,
"We surveyed a few hundred people and got many positive responses. Then we started developing the AI reading assistant, followed by a ban on 59 Chinese apps, including Cam Scanners. It motivated us to integrate a document scanner to the AI reading assistant part that facilitates scanning, storing and sharing documents."
Sonali Ghadiyar Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Assam, the Handloom and Textile Department is taking various measures for the weavers to achieve the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Official sources in Guwahati said that members of various self-help groups have sold face masks worth 27 lakh rupees during the lockdown. Nearly 1,200 weavers are engaged in the mask-making process. On the other hand, Handloom Department has provided subsidized yarn to 1,600 weavers worth 39 lakh rupees. Our correspondent has filed this report.
Nearly 1,200 weavers were engaged in the face mask making process under Handloom and Textile Department in Assam. Handloom Department has also provided subsidized yarn to 1,600 weavers worth 39 lakh rupees during the lockdown period. Apart from that, nearly 7 dozen weavers got engagement by producing over 1,34,000 pieces of gamusa. The outfit has sold bed sheets and pillow covers to National Health Mission and also purchased handloom clothes from the weavers. Manas Pratim Sharma, AR News, Guwahati.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Nation bids adieu to former President Pranab Mukherjee, cremated with full military honours in New Delhi. India says Chinese army carried out provocative acts on 29, 30 and 31st August in eastern Ladakh despite ongoing talks. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holds high-level meeting on LAC situation. Communications and IT Minister writes to Facebook to come up with country-specific community guidelines. COVID-19 recovery rate inches closer to 77%. The government gives nod to 27 integrated cold chain development projects under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. And Indian astronomers discover one of the farthest star galaxies in the universe. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
The recovery rate among COVID-19 patients has further improved and now it has reached 76.94%. In the last 24 hours, 65,081 COVID patients have recovered and were discharged from hospitals. The Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has reached 28,39,882. It said the constant increase in recoveries has ensured that the actual caseload of the country reduced and currently comprises only 21.29% of the total positive cases. The number of recovered patients has overtaken the active cases by 3.61 times. The ministry said the number of recovered patients has grown 4 times from the first week of July to the last week of August this year. Effective implementation of test, track and treat approach has led to higher recoveries and lower fatality. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.77%. In the last 24 hours, 69,921 new cases have been reported, taking the total number of positive cases to 36,91,166. In the last 24 hours, 5 states have posted the highest addition to the new cases in the country. These states are Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. Together, they account for 56% of the confirmed cases added in the last 24 hours. These 5 states have also reported the maximum number of patients that have been cured and discharged in the last 24 hours, cumulatively accounting for 58.04%. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country stand at 7,85,996. In the last 24 hours, 819 deaths have been reported, taking the toll to 65,288. A total of 2,312 new confirmed cases of coronavirus have been reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 1,77,000. Delhi government has said that over 1,56,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 1,050 people recovered and 18 deaths were reported in the national capital, taking the toll to 4,462. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in Delhi is 15,870.
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Dr. S. Rajeshwari, Department of Anesthesiology, AIIMS, has advised people to stay at home and maintain hand hygiene.
We have seen that there is a severe shortage of ICU facilities in the most developed of countries. And in order that we do not face the same calamity in our country, it is vital that we do not stress the health system by becoming more sick and bringing more patients. And for this, I urge that you must stay at home and must maintain hand hygiene to reduce the number of patients coming into the hospital.
Dr. Apurva Mathur, Professor Lab Medicine, AIIMS, has said that physical distancing is very important to check the spread of virus.
Coronavirus spreads by droplets when a person coughs or sneezes. These droplets do not travel beyond 1 meter, and that is why it's important to maintain social distancing.
The guidelines issued by the government for Unlock 4 came into force today. It will remain in force till September the 30th. The Home Ministry on Saturday issued new guidelines for opening up of more activities in areas outside the containment zones as part of Unlock 4. According to the guidelines, metro services across the country will resume from September the 7th, while schools and colleges will remain shut. The centre has also allowed religious, political, social and sports congregations with 100 people to take place from September the 21st with mandatory wearing of face masks and social distancing. International air travel, except as permitted by the government, will remain suspended. There shall also be no restriction on interstate and intrastate movement of persons and goods, including those for cross-land border trade under treaties with neighbouring countries. The Uttar Pradesh government has decided that from now, the shops in the state will be open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. In a review meeting with officers, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that only Sunday should be the weekly closing day for markets. More from a correspondent.
After the Chief Minister's order, it is clear that weekly restrictions regularly imposed for 2 days, that is on Saturday and Sunday, will only be applicable on Sunday from now. Yogi Adityanath also directed officials to implement a special work plan effectively after micro-analysis of the corona condition in Lucknow and Kanpur districts, which are having the highest number of patients in the state. A team of expert doctors will also be formed in Lucknow to provide advice to the general public on health-related issues on digital platforms. Meanwhile, the state yesterday conducted the highest number of 1,49,874 COVID tests in a day till date. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
The joint entrance examination JEE Main for admission to top engineering colleges in the country commenced today with unprecedented preparations. About 9.58 lakh aspirants have registered for the exam being conducted from today to September 6th across 660 centres. This is the first such examination which is being held in the post-COVID era, involving close to 1 million students. In Madhya Pradesh, elaborate arrangements have been made for smooth conduct of JEE Main examinations due to COVID-19 pandemic. Our correspondent tells us more.
More than 47,000 students of the state are participating in the joint entrance examination mains for admission to engineering and pharmacy courses started from today. The National Testing Agency has been conducting the tests at 26 centres in 11 districts in the state till 6 September. All necessary precautions have been taken in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. Last time, 42,000 students participated in this examination. Thus, even after the COVID-19 epidemic, the number of students appearing in the examination has increased by more than 5,000. 4 examination centres have been set up for this examination in the capital Bhopal. Free transport facility has also been provided by the state government to the students. Apart from the government, many social organizations have also been provided free vehicle facilities. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In an effort to guard against fake news being circulated on various platforms, we bring you our segment on Fact Check and Myth Busters. It is being claimed across a few social media platforms that the JEE Mains exam was cancelled today at some examination centres located in Lucknow. The National Testing Agency has termed the claim to be fake and clarified that no exam centres were located in Krishnanagar and Janakipuram area of Lucknow. It added that the examination was conducted with due procedure across all designated centres.
Indian astronomers have discovered one of the farthest star galaxies in the universe in a landmark achievement. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh today said it is a matter of pride that India's first multi-wavelength space observatory, AstroSat, has detected extreme UV light from a galaxy located 9.3 billion light-years away from the Earth. The galaxy called AUDFS01 was discovered by a team of astronomers led by Dr. Kanak Saha from the Inter-University Centre for Astronomy and Astrophysics, Pune. Dr. Jitendra Singh congratulated India's space scientists for once again proving to the world that India's capability in space technology has risen to a distinguished level. Coal India Limited CIL will invest over 1 crore 22 lakh rupees on development of nearly 500 projects related to coal evacuation, infrastructure, project development, exploration and clean coal technologies in the country. The investment aims at making India self-reliant in terms of coal and achieve the production target of 1 billion tons by 2023-24. Union Minister of Coal and Mines Prahlad Joshi, while addressing a stakeholders meet organized today by CIL through video conferencing, said involvement of all concerned stakeholders in companies' affairs will reduce and uncover the project risks.
The government gave its nod to 27 projects today under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana for development of integrated cold chains and value addition infrastructure in the country. The new integrated cold chain projects will generate direct and indirect employment for over 16,000 people and benefit nearly 2,57,000 farmers. Union Minister of Food Processing Industries Harsimrat Kaur Badal said saving the perishable produce by provisioning adequate infrastructure will help in augmenting farmers' incomes and will also act towards making India self-reliant in fruits and vegetables sector. She added that the projects will help in streamlining the agricultural supply chain and generate direct and indirect employment opportunities in rural areas. These 27 new projects will leverage a total investment of 743 crore rupees for the creation of modern, innovative infrastructure and effective cold chain facilities for the food processing sector across various states including Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. 85 cold chain projects have also been considered for financial assistance under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. Ladakh and Lakshadweep have been integrated in the existing National Portability Cluster or One Nation, One Ration Card. Consumer Affairs Ministry said that both the Union Territories have completed the trial and testing of national portability transactions with other states and UTs in the National Cluster. With this, a total of 26 states and UTs are now seamlessly connected with each other under the One Nation, One Ration Card plan.
Now, let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will witness generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. It will have a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius and maximum of 35 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will experience generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Chennai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will hover between 25 and 35 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature in the metropolis will be around 27 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 32 degrees. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature will be 24 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 33 degrees. The city will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will be around 17 degrees, while the maximum will be 24. The city will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or dust storm. Ladakh will have mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 12 and 32 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the temperature will hover between 18 and 25 degrees Celsius. It will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. In Muzaffarabad, there will be generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The temperature will hover between 18 and 24 degrees Celsius.
In Maharashtra, devotees in Mumbai and Pune bid farewell to their beloved Lord Ganesha as the 10-day Ganesh Chaturthi festival culminated today. The immersion is being carried out in a muted manner as the usual pomp and glory is missing this year due to COVID-19 pandemic. And now, before we close, the headlines once again. Nation bids adieu to former President Pranab Mukherjee, cremated with full military honours in New Delhi. India says Chinese army carried out provocative acts on 29th, 30th and 31st of August in eastern Ladakh despite ongoing talks. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holds high-level meeting on LAC situation. Communications and IT Minister writes to Facebook to come up with country-specific community guidelines. COVID-19 recovery rate inches close to 77%. Government gives note to 27 integrated cold chain development projects under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. And Indian astronomers discover one of the farthest star galaxies in the universe. And with that, we end the evening news. From all of us here, good night.